Ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation that I think a lot of us have been waiting for. Candace Owens and Knick Fuentes are gonna have a discussion, and I'm definitely excited to see this one. How are you good people doing, my American brothers and sisters? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ty Smith, and you're watching my channel, Model Renaissance Man, which I'm greatly appreciative of. Make sure you guys are following me on the platforms you see above and below. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. That way my content can stay consistently recommended to you. And if and when you do subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification in the process that will bring down a drop down to allow you to select all notifications. That way you will be notified when I post a video. Last but not least, don't forget to check out my other YouTube channel called Man, Husband, Father. Trying to get to 7,000 subs, and with the help of you spreading the word, we can do that, all right? Appreciate you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this conversation between Candace Owens and Knick Fuentes, I'm pretty sure, would break the internet. And I'm almost a little nervous about putting this up here because Knick Fuentes has been somebody that has become infamous for his views, for his thoughts, and a lot of stuff that he has been pretty much deemed as. They deemed the boy as being a racist. And let me say, young man has been a racist and different things like that. He's been saying some things that's kind of been off-putting, whatever. But for some odd reason lately on the internet, it seems that he can post content and he's not being banned for it, but I'm almost certain that this video is going to be heavily suppressed because his name is going to be in it. Perhaps I may not put his name in this. I might just put Candace Owens' name in this. And I think that the Hodge twins, I don't know how they were able to get a hold of this footage, but the fact that my sister Candace wasn't able to put the information on her YouTube channel leads me to believe that she might think it might cause some sort of issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this video, and shout out to the Hodge twins for being able to produce this. You might hear some commentating from them, from me, so you're going to be able to see a reaction of Candace Owens versus Knick Fuentes. And I'm going to try to size up this video. I don't know if y'all want to see it like this. I think that'd be cool to see it like this. Y'all think so? Yeah, I think this is a nice little scale right here, but we can wait, let me move them a little bit. Maybe I can move myself a little bit too. Let's get ready to go into it and see what this conversation is about. All right, without further ado, let's do it.
So I'm trying to understand if you think that it's all Black people are like this, or if your world is kind of colored by this is what's going on in America. This has failed for 1,000 reasons. Welfarism has definitely, Black people in 1940s, stand up. My grandfather, I talk about that denigration and the corrosion of culture. Yeah. That's happening. White, Black, whatever you want to name it, there is this intentional corrosion of culture. So do you think it's literally... By the way, Knick Fuentes is supposed to be known as this huge racist, whatever like that. So why in the world is he talking to a Black person, and all people, a Black woman who he doesn't respect? For this is what a lot of y'all are telling me. He don't respect Black people. He don't like Black people. He's a racist, And here he is talking to Candace Owens. Let's go. Whatever you want to name it, there is this intentional corrosion of culture. So do you think it's literally, well, this is just what a Black person is when they come out? Or do you think that post welfare, LBJ, Great Society, this is what Black Americans have become, and I have a right to respond to that and say that as a white man, I don't want to live there?
Well, I think it's more nature than people would like to believe. There's this classic tension of, is it nature, is it nurture, is it cultural, or is it intrinsic, is it racial? And I've always been on the latter side of this among conservatives. Conservatives like to say it's all culture. Black America is the way it is because of hip hop music and the Great Society and that kind of stuff. And I think the uncomfortable reality is a big part of it is intrinsic. One of the big arguments against the abolition of slavery in the 1860s is that, when Europeans colonized Africa, they hadn't discovered the wheel. There's no two-story buildings.
Okay, this baby.
Oh, man, they're going to throw in a commercial. Come on now. I'm going to mute that. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button right now. Thus far, what do y'all think about what he's saying? He's saying, I guess, Black people by nature are the way they are because nature deemed them to be that way.
That's crazy. No wheel, no two-story buildings. I wonder if they had fire.
Uh-oh.
Nah, it probably would have got dark. I guess all you could see was eyes and teeth. Yeah, got a new show for y'all. Got a damn to get in the couldn't. I'm
gonna skip ahead. Shout out to the Hodge twins.
That's crazy. No written language. No. I can't be still. Telepathy going. Yeah.
African people, because there's no recorded history. They didn't have writing.
So Egypt is not in Africa.
Well, Egypt is a different race.
continent. You know what? A lot of people think all of Africa is nothing but sub-Saharans. Hold on. Black folks.
Like, they got it on Twitter. I could have pulled it up on Twitter.
Yeah, sub-Saharan.
I could have pulled this up on Twitter. Hold on for a second, y'all. I will be right back after these messages. All right, so I was able to pull this up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to get on into this without wasting any more time. Let's go.
Hey, listen, I'm never going to obviously adopt your beliefs on it. I just think I'm trying to understand if you're actually, you think that it's all black people are like this, or if your world is kind of colored by this is what's going on in America. This has failed for 1,000 reasons. Welfarism has definitely, black people in 1940s, stand up. My grandfather, I talk about that denigration and the corrosion of culture. That's happening. White, black, whatever you want to name it, there is this intentional corrosion of culture. So do you think it's literally, well, this is just what a black person is when they come out? Or do you think that post welfare, LBJ, Great Society, this is what black Americans have become, and I have a right to respond to that and say that as a white man, I don't want to live there?
Well, I think it's more nature than people would like to believe. There's this classic tension of, is it nature, is it nurture, is it cultural, or is it intrinsic, is it racial? And I've always been on the latter side of this among conservatives. Conservatives like to say it's all culture. Black America is the way it is because of hip hop music and the Great Society and that kind of stuff. And I think the uncomfortable reality is a big part of it is intrinsic. One of the big arguments against the abolition of slavery in the 1860s.
Now, notice he's saying he think, which all of us should have the right to do that. You say what you think something is. Let's go.
60s is that, when Europeans colonized Africa, they hadn't discovered the wheel. There's no two-story buildings. There's no writing. There's no written language. Missionaries had to go to Africa in the last century and invent it for the African people because there's no recorded history. They didn't have writing.
So Egypt is not in Africa.
Well, Egypt is a different race. The Egyptians were not black.
Okay, but you said when they went to Africa, so I just want to...
That's arguable. That right there is arguable.
Interior of Africa in the late 19th century. Scrambled for Africa.
So we're now knocking Egypt out of Africa.
Well, Egypt is part of northern Africa, sub-Saharan Africa.
You said Africa, so I'm not trying to get a gotcha. I'm just responding. You're saying Africa.
Sure. Yeah.
It's in Africa. It's Egypt. It's kind of ridiculous to say there was no written language. Well, so I'm just trying to get you to
sure. Egyptians are not Africans.
If I'm not pushing back, the internet will. So
Egyptians are not racial Africans. When I say African, I'm saying sub-Saharan Africans.
Sub-Saharan, okay.
Black people because it is a different race. In sub-Saharan Africa, and Europeans did not penetrate that until late 19th century. They didn't have any of this. To the extent that you have infrastructure in Africa, it's from the Muslims in the Sahel, in the Maghreb, in northern Africa, where the Arabs colonized. And then you had, Carthage and Egypt. You had ancient civilizations. But sub-Saharan Africa, they didn't have that. You take these people out of that land and put them here, and they're enslaved people. You let them free in a modern, liberal republic. They're not going to succeed. It's not going to go well for them. And that was one of the arguments against abolition. People said if you free them without any assimilation, without any kind of process for them to be acclimated, they're going to die. And that's exactly what happened. Many of the bottom 10% of the lowest IQ Africans just died off for generations. And it had and pardon the expression, but it had a eugenic effect because over time, if the weakest are dying off, that's one argument for why blacks in America have a standard deviation higher IQ.
And that's also goes for white people. There were a lot of whites that died off as well. Y'all do understand that, right? What he's saying, don't get pissed off at him because what he's saying is true. But at the same time, there were a lot of whites that died off as well. Talk about those as well. Now, at the same time, when blacks came over here, there were blacks that were doing great things from the get-go, along with George Washington. Don't believe me, guys. Go and look it up, research it. Amistad, he was a guy that was like the double agent. There were black people that were doing great things. Lemuel Haynes, John Morant. A lot of these black people were doing great things right from the get-go who probably these guys were slaves. But there was a great majority of them that were unlearned and they were not taught. Therefore, they would die out. But at the same time, that goes for whites too. The only difference is at that time, whites had the advantage because they were brought over. The whites had the advantage because they were already part of families that had this information. They had this knowledge. They had this education. They came from that type of thing. So it's understandable. You got people that's coming from two-story type of living, how the way they built things over here versus ones that came from huts and things like that. So yeah, there is going to be a huge discrepancy between those two. But let's not get it twisted and act like there weren't no whites that were dying as well, okay? Let's keep going.
Than the blacks in sub-Saharan Africa. So, so I do believe there is something intrinsic going on there. And what makes people uncomfortable about this is the idea that it's unchangeable. There's something about, and this is why I'm a Catholic, we do have an inherent desire for universalism. We do believe that there's a common humanity and a common human community and all of that. We hate the idea that we're born a certain way and we can never change. And that's just the way it is. And we even think about this in terms of, it's become not so popular these days to tell children, you can be whatever you want to be. Because we know that's not the case. Some people.
I totally agree. With that, I agree. You should not tell no child you can be whatever you want to be as long as you put your mind to it. No, I let them know you can do the things that you love, that you enjoy, whatever your hobbies and things are. Let's find out together what it is that you love to do and what you like to do and something that you actually are really good and it comes natural to you. And whatever that is, let's explore that, because not everybody can be a doctor. Not everybody can be a lawyer. Not everybody can be a CEO, a director, things like that. Let's just keep it real. Some people just don't have that intellect to do that. And I think that the Bible clearly says that we are all born with certain gifts, right? Now, just because some of us are smarter than other people and have more of an intellect, a higher IQ than some, it doesn't mean that the ones that don't have it are dumb or stupid. There are some people that don't understand certain things. I know that there are individuals out there, they cannot do anything in regards to medicine. But as far as like building something, putting a roof or something on, boom, killing it. And there's some people out there right now that they're the idealist. They can come up with the ideas and everything like that, but they're not the ones that can actually put the stuff together. So let me give you guys an example. You got people out there that have come up with what we call their great inventors, but they're not the ones who actually molded the thing, that welded the thing, that actually came up with the ingenuity of it. It actually measured things off to actually put the physics into play. But they had the idea what it is that they wanted, if y'all follow me. So yeah, that's just a fact.
People are tall, some people are short, some people are smart, some dumb, some ugly, some handsome. That's why, by the way, incel dumb is a big part of this also.
So you believe these are immutable characteristics that are assigned at birth?
I think that, yes.
For the most part.
Things like race, all those attributes are immutable and unchangeable. But
they have changed, just factually speaking, they have changed.
They change over time, over the generations.
Okay, so then you don't think it's immutable. Because if this was an immutable characteristic.
Individual person.
Okay, so you're saying that if you are born at this space and time as a black person in America, here is the cards that you're dealt with and you can't change that over time.
Something like IQ does not change. No, doesn't change wildly. It only changes genetically over. IQ is a big one, and that changes. That's a genetic trait. And so that can change over the generations, but you can't take an individual that's 75 IQ, which is the average in West Africa, and take them to 100.
So two dumb people can't produce a smart person.
I believe they can, actually.
Yeah.
But
so does that kind of debunk your?
No, because it's rare that happens. But IQ is a heritable trait, so it's unlikely that happens.
All right, so that's the first part of this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Thus far, it seemed like a productive conversation, in my opinion. Don't seem like there's no ill will here, but I am going to get to another segment of this if you guys want to watch it when they probably get on some more hotter topics, and I'll see if I'll cover that tonight. But thus far, you guys let me know, what do you think about this conversation so far? Is there any information in here that you disagree with him on or disagree with her on? Leave it in the comment section below after this video, and we'll keep this little segment right here going, all right? Do not forget to do what y'all see in this animation right here that will keep my content out there. If y'all do this, appreciate it. The next video that I will be doing regarding this segment is going to be up here. Things I may have did earlier or as of yesterday will be right here. I am Ty Smith, Model Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, praying every last one of you guys in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.